The #1 bestseller is now an explosive Russ Meyer Films, a movie about a banned book, a rape, and a trial that tore a town apart.
I made a video, not that long ago, looking at the work of Russ Meyer. I could have analysed every one of his films in turn and pointed out their strengths and weaknesses. But there was so much footage that I wouldn't dream of uploading to YouTube that I decided to do a broad sweep of his career as a whole. But there's one film that I wanted to look at a little closer, and it's the film that most Russ Meyer fans don't mention, The 7 Minutes.
Russ Meyer is one of the greatest independent filmmakers of all time, making movies his way, about his obsessions, controlling the filmmaking process every step of the way from conception to distribution. But for a brief moment, he got sucked into the Hollywood studio system, where he made both his most popular film and his least known. Guess which one I'm going to be talking about? That's right, Russ Meyer's boring movie, 1971's The 7 Minutes.
I don't agree with that review. I think that's incredibly harsh. What the movie was unexpected, as Meyer was known for making over-the-top satires with a lot of nudity, and this wasn't that.
I did 2 so-called straight films for my career. One was The 7 Minutes, based on Irving Wallace's bestseller. Kind of dealt with an idea of censorship of book, busting and its prosecution and its defense and its exoneration. It had such a smashing success with Beyond the Valley of the Dolls that I felt that I could really do anything. And instead of doing a film that I had intended to do, it was a violent film it was written by Peter George, who did Dr. Strangelove. It's called Final Steel. I was deterred from that as a next project and went ahead with 7 Minutes.
The story is about a book which has been banned for its salacious content, but is being sold illegally. Defense attorney Mike Barrett takes on the case, arguing the book is literature rather than smut. And the courtroom battle escalates into a wider cultural clash over censorship, morality, and freedom of speech, with a final revelation about the book's true authorship.
The code states that any person who knowingly offers to distribute any obscene matter is guilty of a misdemeanor. The district attorney feels that the book The 7 Minutes by J.J. Jadway would be found obscene if taken to court.
The film was originally set for Tora director Richard Fleischer to helm, but he would eventually pass on the project. So after having sunk approximately $1 million into the production already, 20th Century Fox approached Russ Meyer, whose first studio film, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, made the studio considerably more money than predicted. They convinced him by saying that he was Mr. Anti-Censorship after having terrible troubles with the release of his independently financed movies. So he took on the project as director and producer.
I hear he reads a lot.
What the hell do these look like? Everybody reads a lot here.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I'm only interested in one particular book. Have you ever seen him reading The 7 Minutes or discussing it?
Oh, you're sounding like a pig. Like a stinking pig. Fuck off!
20th Century Fox presented Meyer with a script that was far more wordy than he had ever shot before, and after luring him to the project by emphasising the freedom of expression angle, they restricted the amount of nudity he could use. There's still some, but is glimpsed rather than ogled. And I'm sure there are many people who think that that is a good thing.
2 weeks ago, we found a meaningful issue, namely that much of this youthful violence is provoked by salaciousness in reading matter and in films.
In effort not to let the story lag under the weight of the dialogue, Meyer utilises a rapid cutting style, which I love. If we look at the scene where the 3 men are talking about the case while J.C. Flippin's character's trophy girlfriend is starved for attention, we can see that while the subject matter is not on brand, the filmmaking style is pure Meyer's.
It pits the district attorney against some two-bit book salesman and some obscure printed words that nobody will ever read or even hear about. It should be plain to all of us now that Fremont Rouse was a flop. Let's forget it. Let's go on to something else with a little more promise. Baby doll, will you stop that?
This sequence transitions into the scene which features the assault, which acts as a catalyst for the moral panic. But it is intercut with the DJ, Wolfman Jack, playing himself, hosting his radio show in his own inimitable style. I can't show too much of this sequence for obvious reasons, but the music creates an unsettling counterpoint to the scene. This is something I see imitated in the work of Quentin Tarantino.
KBILLY, home of rock.
Out of all the things said about Russ Meyer, the one thing that people don't point out is how great his sound design is.
As one boy said to me in the audience, I said, "What did you think of the film?" He said, "I've always been a fan of yours," but he said, You spent so much time in the courtroom, and you didn't spend the equivalent time on people's screws. He just said it exactly, that way.
Now, I really love a legal drama, so the fact that 1/3 of this film's running time is set in a courtroom is a point in its favour. But the subject matter, by which I mean the nature of obscenity, is something I have keen interest in. Every artist should, as I don't believe anyone should be able to tell you what is or isn't suitable for the subject of your art.
Are you aware that the publisher, the Sanford House, pandered the 7 minutes with this garish poster prominently displayed in front of the Argus bookstore?
But there were other quotes on similar advertising that described it as a distinguished work of art.
The problem is that obscenity is not a fixed thing. For example, Don't Go Into the Woods was on the Video Nasties list and banned in the UK under the 1984 Video Recordings Act, but was later released uncut in 2007 and given a 15 certificate. In the film, they argue that the book has artistic merit and therefore not obscene, which is an argument that I would use to defend Russ Meyer's early work, which is very much exploitation cinema, leering and at times misogynistic, but so well made the sheer skill of the filmmaking elevates it to a new level.
This was the film that exposed Russ Meyer for who he really was. Because he made his name making groovy sex pictures that broke the rules, he was often misinterpreted as a hipster. But in reality, he was an old-fashioned World War II vet who served with Patton. He was a square who liked big boobs. This movie feels like Russ trying to prove to 20th Century Fox that he could make a movie just like anyone else. It feels like if Doug Sirk made an ABC Movie of the Week.
In the many books about Russ Meyer's career, this is the film that they always gloss over. Russ blaming the film's failure on his own arrogance, thinking that he can make a film about issues rather than tits.
My poor girl's damn near dead because some little punk was made crazy by your damn dirty book!
The 7 minutes was not a hit, and as a result 20th Century Fox cancelled the 3-picture deal they had with Meyer, and he went back to making films independently. And I'm sad not to see the career that Meyer could have had were this film a hit. I wonder what films he could have made with the backing of a studio and less emphasis on sleaze. I would love to have seen him direct something with a big star in the lead. It was clear that he wanted to take his career in a different direction, as the first movie he made after this was Black Snake, a drama about slavery, which was also a flop, the biggest of his career. And thereafter, Meyer's movies became wildly over-the-top self-parodies.
Some of it's just so funny.
I think it's Up that starts with Adolf Hitler having sex with this Asian woman, and then there's a hippie guy dressed like a pilgrim that's beating him with a whip. That's brilliant.
I like him. I just think he's outrageous, and I really respected him.
If the 7 minutes had a big star in the lead, someone like Robert Redford, then it might be ripe for reassessment now. But instead it has Wayne Maunder in the lead, a perfectly good actor for the role, but not an A-lister. Tom Selleck does make a pre-fame appearance, but it's just a supporting role.
Do you want me to stay for the trial? I'm up to here with pre-publication deals back home.
No. As a matter of fact, it might be better to keep you out of the picture entirely.
This film can be hard to get hold of, as it never appeared in those Russ Meyer box sets and is not presently available to be streamed. There is a copy on archive.org at the time of recording, currently seen on screen, and as you can see it is pretty low res and has hard-coded subtitles on it. There is no HD release of this movie to date, but it was available on DVD from Arrow Video in the UK. My fingers are crossed that they eventually do a 4K release, as I do believe the film is good enough to warrant it.
This movie is difficult to find, scarce on home video, almost never revived. It's hard to place on a double bill with one of Russ's sexy movies. Actually, the perfect second feature would be the Don Knotts film, The Love God. 2 oddball, dirty courtroom pictures.
That is about it for this video. If you have seen this movie, why not tell me what you thought of it below? If you could also hit the like and share buttons, it would really help me out, as it boosts the video up the algorithm, which means more people get to see them. I am soon to be making my own movie, and if you would like to help me out with the rising costs of that, you can send me a one-time donation via this site. And there is a link below this video for your ease. Thanks in advance. I'm Scott Kingsnorth, and I'm making a movie.